Welcome to the Community Difference Plano, powered by the Difference Media LLC, and hosted by Nathan Smith with Summit Financial, and also sponsored by Jacqueline Kreider with Financial Mastery Simplified, Harvey Lucier with Twilight Cleaning Services, Tracy Duff with Assisted Living Locators, Cindy Durance with A Place at Home, Suzanna Austin with Canine Resorts, Audra Hooper with Audra Hooper Integrated Health, and by Kirk Hodgson with Assured Partners. The Community Difference Plano was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals. So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts, and insights about being a professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Plano starts now.
Good morning, Plano. It is 11:32 on a rainy Wednesday morning. Welcome to episode 59 of the Community Difference Plano, a podcast firmly rooted at a section of business development and community involvement. I'm your host, Nathan Smith with Summit Financial, where we specialize in guiding personal finances, helping you to properly protect your income. Today is a day of lasts, plural, right? It is the last show of our March topic this month, how to think like a CEO, even if you're a team of one, adopting a growth mindset to lead your business to new heights. But it's also our last Wednesday show. So we will be moving to Tuesdays moving forward, same time, 11:30 a.m., 11:30 to 12:45. But we will be moving to Tuesdays because our Collin County Business Development Alliance and then some of the future BDAs that are opening up around the area will all take place on Wednesday across the Metroplex. It'll be different Wednesdays of the month. The Collin County one is the fourth Wednesday. So as you're watching this, you may be thinking, well, aren't you guys in the BDA? We will be. We're pre-recorded this show, but as you're watching it, we'll be at the BDA. So you can watch it on your phone and drive out to Love and Warren, Texas, and see us out there. That's where we'll be while you're watching this episode. So first of all, again, very excited to wrap up this topic. It's been such a great topic this month. And in order to do that, I want to bring in our co-host. Whether she's walking on her hands or toppling over her bike mid-hill, Audra Hooper knows that progress always beats perfection. As the brains behind Audra Hooper Integrated Health, she's here to share how a growth mindset can keep you moving forward, even when life tries to clip you in. Audra, good morning.
Good morning.
I love that I don't love that you fell, but I love that that's funny. I can just see that happening. I don't know why I find that funny, but
my husband still finds it very funny.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. Well, what are you looking forward to this morning?
You know what? I'm just looking forward to discussing this topic and learning more, because I think with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, especially small business owners, this is the missing piece to go from where you are to where you want to be. And when we don't have the conversation and we're not growing and we're not at least changing our mindset and focusing on this, we may stay stuck in that place that we are and not have freedom of time and money like we all really want.
I think that's great. And we're going to really talk about what that actually looks like from a practical standpoint in our topic segment, which will be our third segment here coming up shortly. Let's bring in your other co-host here. She's taken on a jiu-jitsu tournament alongside her kids, but the real battle was the time she fell off a riser at a club right onto the dance floor. Suzanna Austin knows that growth isn't always about avoiding missteps, about getting up, whether in business or in life. As the powerhouse behind Canine Resort, she's here to share how thinking like a CEO starts with one thing: just starting. Let's welcome Suzanna Austin. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you fell off a riser at a club and you smushed some people. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was back in my early 20s. I don't even think I had any business being in that club at the time. Don't tell my mom. Um, when you're out there doing things that you're not supposed to be doing, silly things happen to you.
Well, mine also involved falling, so we have that in common. I was clipped into a road bike with my shoes going up a hill, and it was so difficult. I was going so slow that I actually just tipped over like in slow motion.
Well,
So.
I was showing off.
Oh no. I have 1,000 stories like that, so we don't have time to share. That'd be a whole other show. Let's bring in our first guest. She's an expert at what she calls bump ups, not accidents, just minor miscalculations, and once lost her slip mid-performance in 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. But Jill Hellwig knows that in life and business, you just keep going and you celebrate every step. As a driving force behind Brand New You, she's here to show us a growth mindset, how a growth mindset can turn setbacks into setups for success. Jill, good morning.
Good morning. I'm so glad to be joining you all today.
Well, it's good to have you. We'll probably need to get more into your, what do we call it, bump ups in our guest deep dive. So we'll hold off to that. But what are you most looking forward to today?
Oh, like Audra said, I just really am looking forward to this conversation. This has just been kind of one of those issues in my own business and that I've also seen in other businesses with clients. And so I think this is a really valuable conversation for business owners. So I'm looking forward to a vulnerable talk and, just learning as well alongside you all.
Well, very good. We're looking forward to that as well. Let's bring in our last guest. She's a competitive curler, a sushi superfan, and possibly the clumsiest person you'll ever meet. But Brigitte Robertson knows that success is all about balance. As the force behind Pet Evolution, she's here to talk about adopting a growth mindset, staying on your feet in business, even if not in real life, and leading like a CEO, even if you're a team of one. Brigitte, good morning to you.
Good morning, everybody.
So you are the clumsiest person in the world? Is that what we're to understand?
It's a thing.
Okay.
It's literally, I fall, I run into walls, and I apologize to the wall. Like, it's just this, it's a daily thing. I don't even notice it anymore. It's fine.
Well, that's okay. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt there. So what are you looking forward to today?
Piggyback on everyone. Owning a small business is not for the faint of heart. And I find that a lot of the falls that we make, being able to learn from them and being able to share them to small business is definitely a community in itself. And I think it's really important for us to kind of all band together, support each other. But I learn immensely from other small business owners around me. So very excited to be here.
Excited to have you. We're also excited about what's coming up next. We're going to talk about some events in your city, which is Plano, the Collin County area, that you need to know about coming up. We'll check in with some of our contacts, and we'll get back to you here on the other side of this commercial break. So stick around. We'll be right back on the Community Difference Plano.
The Community Difference Plano is made possible by Nathan Smith with Summit Financial, Harvey Lucier with Twilight Cleaning Services, Tracy Duff with Assisted Living Locators, Jacqueline Kreider with Financial Mastery Simplified, Suzanna Austin with K9 Resorts, Audra Hooper with Audra Hooper Integrated Health, Cindy Durance with A Place at Home, and by Kirk Hodgson with Assured Partners. The Community Difference Plano. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready? Because it's time for
What's Up Plano?
What's Up Plano, brought to you by Love and War in Texas. Get ready to experience the true heart of Texas at Love and War in Texas, which is in Plano. Savor authentic Texas cuisine from barbecue and wild game to Gulf seafood, all while enjoying live music from some of or looking for a fun night out. This iconic spot has it all. Visit Love and War in Texas and discover why it's the perfect blend of Texas flavor and spirit. Speaking of As I mentioned, as you're watching this, we will be at Levin War in Texas. Moving forward, Wednesday, the fourth Wednesday for Collin County Business Development Alliance, 11:30 to 1. Come check us out. We'll be out there. We'll have a time of networking and lunch. We'll have a speaker, a panel. Right now, we're at Levin War. We don't know. We'll obviously keep you posted if that changes, but they've been a great venue for us so far. A couple of things coming up, about 2 months away. The Veterans Job Fair, Community Difference in partnership with the American Legion. If you are a veteran, you can scan the QR code, sign up, come to the job fair. Obviously, you could show up, that's fine, but we'd love to get a count of how many are coming. These are people coming off of active duty or just coming home looking for new opportunities, or already veteran status. They're just looking to change jobs or needing some extra income, whatever that looks like. Just scan the QR code and you can sign up very quickly. Also, if you're a business that's hiring, right, you can register only $200, really easy, pretty low for a job fair. And you can do that through the QR code, also on our website as well. You can, if you're a veteran-owned business, it's going to be just $100, and it's going to be at the American Legion in downtown Plano, post 321. You can see the address there. Our special guest will be Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, who will be there. It's going to be a great event. It's a family event, right? So come out, bring the family. There'll be food, stuff for the kids to do, and a lot of businesses on hand. If you are not a veteran, you just want to get an idea what the American Legion is and how it serves our veteran community and our military, come out and just meet some people. Like I said, you can meet Colonel Alan West. It'll be a great time to meet and greet as well. Also, for the singers in our, that's the next one. Friday night, March 28th, bingo night, downtown Plano. It's music bingo. I guess you could sing along to music bingo if you wanted to. That's going to be in McCall Plaza, right there next to Fillmore Pub. This is this Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. Going to be a fantastic event. And then, of course, if you are a singer, come sing Under the Stars Friday, April 4th, also downtown Plano, karaoke night at McCall Plaza. So I know that everyone here will be out there. What is y'all's go-to karaoke song?
I'm usually a Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, you told me that last time, and that's like my go-to song. Like, can you like is it good? I'm calling you out right now. Like,
oh no, it's terrible. I don't know why people haven't thrown things at me.
That's such a tough song. I don't know. Audra, do you sing, Audra?
Okay, I don't. Not a karaoke person. However, I did a karaoke night a few weeks ago. My friends dragged me up and we sang some Bruno Mars song. It was awful and I kind of blacked out a little bit.
No.
I did it.
Okay. Well, I'm scared to ask Brigitte and Jill.
I'm a Sweet Caroline type girl, because everyone will sing with you, right? So it drowns out your
it's an
voice.
all sing. It's an all sing song for sure.
Take notes, everyone. Sweet Caroline, just don't steal it if I'm in the same room as you, because that's all.
I feel like it's either that or Don't Stop Believing or Baby Got Back. Those are the ones that everybody very different types of songs, but I think that seems to be the group sing. Jill, what about you?
Anything 80s, Whitney Houston, Madonna, Michael Jackson. I'll take it all.
All right. Well, that's exciting. Well, let's keep going here. Suzanna, you talked to, we recently got connected with a gentleman from Parks and Recs. Tell me who that is first and kind of y'all's relationship. And then he's got some exciting things to share coming up.
Seth Lowe, he's the recreation coordinator for the city of Plano. They've got an Easter egg hound hunt that we actually went to last year as well. It's the sweetest thing. There's just a small fee, I believe, to register. There's only so many dogs because they like to keep it safe that are allowed to go. So they ask everybody to pre-register. And so, it's coming up in a couple weeks. It's a great time, super fun family event. The weather's
and this is
nice.
at Oak Point Nature Preserve, I should say. Correct?
Yes, yes, sir. You take You take your dogs out on their leash, and there's Easter eggs filled with treats. And I think they win a prize too whoever finds the most eggs.
So it's just $5, which is great.
Yes.
And then, the Plano Parks and Rec is such a good department. Like Plano, with the parks that they have from Oak Point to I'm blanking on the one out off of the tollway. What's the other big reserve over there on the west side of Plano?
Arbor Hills.
Yeah.
Arbor Hills. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And all the different parks in between. I mean, just so many. My kids go to 10, 20 different parks just in Plano and play. And of course you have the parks with the playgrounds, you have the parks with the walking trails. There's actually a ropes course out at Oak Point. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a ropes course out at Oak Point. So that's pretty incredible. So, well, thank you. We look forward to, we're going to try to have him on next time. So we're working to schedule that in. There's a ton more happening in and around Parks and Recs, and as we build our relationships with our first responders and our government officials, we've had obviously mayor and city council and school board, and the Parks and Rec, they deserve recognition for what they've done, and we want to have them on and highlight some of the great things that are happening there as well. Okay, Jill, there are a couple of exciting things in your world coming up. Tell us about those.
Yeah, I just wanted to share about Caddo resources. Their offices are just so amazing. Back at the end of 2022, I was kind of tired of meeting in coffee shops and church lobbies and, just anywhere I could with clients and for business meetings. And so took a step out and joined the Caddo Maple Shade location, which was brand new then. They have 2 offices in Plano, and my business has tripled since I've been here. It's an amazing community of small business owners, and they're always doing fun events here. You can do a social membership. You can do like office suites from $5.99. And with that, we have networking groups every month. We have like the Plano Chamber of Commerce meets here, the Richardson Chamber of Commerce meets here. So there are just a lot of really awesome business opportunities that I wanted to tell people about. If they get this information and use the code Jill500, they can get $500 off there, in addition to their other incentives. And they have, I think, 8 locations across the Metroplex. So anyone who hears this, even in Fort Worth or Tarrant County or Flower Mound or McKinney or Allen, they're even downtown Dallas. It's just been an amazing place for me to find community. And I think, it's a great little gem here. There's 2 locations in Plano. So I wanted to share that with everybody.
That's good. And I know people are always looking for a good space that's not a coffee shop. And coffee shops have really come into offices where they sell coffee. That's kind of what they do for so many people.
Exactly. You can have events. Yes, go ahead.
Tell us events. Sell like a girl.
Yeah, so they have training rooms and conference rooms and things like that. So if you don't want to be a member here, but you want to have an event here, you can do that as well. I have an event coming up this Friday. I know a lot of business owners hate the sales aspect and revenue development and business development of their business. They're great technicians, but maybe just hate that whole process of selling. And I absolutely have loved selling ever since I was a little girl. And so I talk a little bit about the benefits that we have as women in the sales profession. And so this particular course is specifically for women in business, but sales doesn't have to be sleazy or cheesy or annoying. There's a process to it. And you can take the pressure off your personality and you can lean on to the process. And so that's what we're going to teach on this Friday. So I just wanted to invite anyone to that.
Well, that's awesome. As we approach April, a lot of Easter activities, church Easter activities. Obviously we talked about the Easter egg hound hunt, but you guys at Create Church, which is kind of really at the intersection of Dallas, Richardson, and Plano, all kind of right there, the northwest portion, I should say, of 75 and let's see, northwest.
And George Bush.
Actually, no, it's southwest. It's southwest corner of 75 and George Bush. So really a perfect intersection. So you guys have an event coming up. Here's kind of the calendar for the Easter season. Tell us about the helicopter egg drop. That sounds fun.
Well, and I think it might be the same date as the one that we've, the egg hunt that we talked about earlier. But, go to the egg hunt. And then if your kids want more eggs, I know that they started doing this a few years ago. And it's just this huge helicopter that comes in on this big field. And the kids just love it, seeing those eggs drop into the field. And so we wanted to invite anyone to that. It's a great, fun day. They have food trucks out there and, different things that the families can do, bounce houses. And so anybody's invited.
So that's going to be April 12th.
April 12th.
Yeah. And then, so you can go to the hound hunt from 9 to 10 and you can come over to the helicopter egg drop from 10.
The hound hunt is specifically for fur babies, so you can take your fur babies to one. You can take your babies to the helicopter.
That's right.
That's
right.
That's perfect. And there's even a little dog park right next to the field where they drop the helicopter drop, so your fur babies can go eat more. Bring them there.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, guys, when we come back, we're going to dive into our topic today. I'm very excited. Again, it's our last week, how to think like a CEO, even if you're a team of one, adopting a growth mindset to lead your business to new heights. So stick around. We'll be right back on the Community Difference Plano.
The Community Difference would like to thank each of the following partners for their continued support. At Fireboss Realty, we believe life is about relationships, and everything else is just details. Whether you're buying or selling, Scott and Amy Johnson are here to understand your family's unique needs and deliver expert guidance on the North Texas real estate market. With a reputation for integrity and personalized service, Fireboss Realty makes your home journey stress-free and successful. Ready to make your move? Visit firebossrealty.com and let's ignite your real estate dreams.
Everyone deserves access to affordable health insurance, but with traditional insurance, costs can be high and getting coverage can be complicated. JP Direct Health is a simpler, more affordable way to get the health coverage you need. With plans for individuals, families, and small businesses, you can save money on monthly premiums without the need for physicals. At jpdirecthealth.com, we specialize in customizing coverage to fit almost every budget with affordable PPO plans and many other benefits. With over 100 5-star Google reviews, JP Direct Health is a trusted resource making health insurance affordable and accessible for everyone year-round. Affordable health insurance solutions are a proactive protection, not a reactive solution. Visit jpdirecthealth.com today and see how much you can save.
I'm always here to help. Thank you.
Total Care Emergency Room now has 9 locations in the DFW Metroplex. With no appointment needed, our incredible staff will get you checked in with no wait times. Our 5-star facility is open and fully staffed 24/7. We offer extensive treatment options for patients of all ages, providing on-site labs and imaging equipment, including CT, X-ray, and ultrasound, allowing us to provide fast, convenient care for our community. Total Care ER is your neighborhood emergency room. TotalCare.us.
Unwanted pests in your home can be stressful. From creepy crawlies to critters under the floorboards, they disrupt your peace of mind. But don't worry. All Pest Solutions is here to help. We offer a comprehensive range of safe and effective pest control solutions. We target all types of pests, big or small, including insects, rodents, and wildlife. All Pest Solutions, your local experts for a pest-free home. Breathe easy and enjoy your life again. Call today for a free quote. 972-442-1169 or email us at customerservice@allpestsolutions.com.
To belong is one of our most basic human needs. Best Buddies International is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social isolation of 200 million individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. We focus on meaningful one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living. You have the power to make an impact, create change, and champion our mission of inclusion today.
Now back to the show.
Welcome back as we jump right into our topic this morning. There we go. Oh, did we lose? That's a weird setting. I can't. There we are. Okay, good. It's like, Jill, you're off to the bottom for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. Well, I want to jump in. A lot of times small business owners really get focused on the day-to-day operations, right? They're working in their business. They're not really working on their business. And when you start out, obviously you have to work in your business sometimes. And the whole point of this topic, you may be a team of one. You're trying to wear all the hats. You're trying to figure things out. But eventually what can happen is you create a job that you own and you're not really building towards a business. Well, what's the difference between a job and a business? Well, owning a job and having a business, it's not just, having an LLC. I mean, from a tax perspective, maybe that's, the same, but having a business is having a system, right, that runs and operates itself, whether it be through employees, whether it be through some sort of online scalability, whatever that looks like. And so our challenge today is trying to figure out how to help people think through that process, right? How to help them understand what are some things that you have to start thinking about in order to begin to move in that particular way. And so your business is sometimes a job that you build for yourself, not necessarily an asset, and that can be a problem. So let's just start here. What do you guys think? And you can share from your own experience. Say maybe I'm here right now. And Jill, you've had a ton of coaching experience in your lifetime. We'll talk about some of your connections a little bit later. But if I'm starting a business from scratch, no matter what it is, right? And I'm obviously working in my business. I'm the one-man show. How do I start thinking about growth and development and systems and scaling without neglecting what I have to do to make money, but also not being so focused on that I never have a plan for growth in the future? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I'll open that up to anybody.
I think I'm still in the middle of that. We've not been open quite a year, so I'm still trying to find the balance between building a business and building the brand and trying to create the followers and the people who want to be with us. We have a young team by design, but with that has come a lot of hardship on me personally, trying to mentor this younger crew that we have. The ones that have signed on are trustworthy and they're helpful and they're turning into real leaders. There's a few who are still thinking more like employees, like we were talking about, and just focus on the day-to-day tasks. I'm here to do the job that you pay me for, and then I'll go home. And then there are some who want to grow with you and want to take what you have to offer. So I'm hoping to fill my building with more of those who want to take what I have to offer and allow me to mentor them in the best way so I can get that team solid.
Jill, what would you say? What would your response be to that question?
I love that, Suzanna. I think having a solid team is so important. I think I was just thinking about maybe some steps involved. And when we first start our businesses, we really have to understand who we are and what our identity is. That's our branding. And that is, the thing that sets us apart from everyone else. And then we get our offerings together and our packages and our pricing. And we start to see how that flows and how successful we're doing, and we get those customer ratings and we get client experience feedback. And it's so important, I think, to have that culture from the very beginning, before then the third step is put it in a system. So we have to know who we are, know what we offer, and then we can put it in a system. So it's like sometimes as people who are wanting to scale, they want to move it into the system. And I know as CEOs, sometimes we have like these big visions, we're such visionaries, but I think it's really important just not to despise small beginnings and to start. It's okay. Like start small, be that entrepreneur and really get the culture. What are my core values? What are the things, the pillars that our company stands on? And then when we hire the team, then we can sustain a model that works, long term. We can build upon a really strong foundation.
Well, Brigitte, Jill brings up a good point, and what she's talking about is this kind of idea of building a machine, right? And you don't think about that as an army of one necessarily, but it's very important because at the end of the day, all the systems, all the thing, writing down your processes, learning how your business works and being able to translate that to someone else, whether they're other partners or whether you're a franchise model, whether you're hiring employees, all that begins to build the duplicatable system, right? And I think that's what really, and it's the different mindset of machine or building a job, right? And so
Right.
for you, and talk to us a little bit about, what's your structure? Do you have a team? Do you have, where are you at in this process of multiplying and growth? And are these some of the things that you think about on a regular basis?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to be a small business and have growing pains. It really is. Very much to piggyback on Suzanna, when you're a small business owner and you're a CEO of one, you have to surround yourself with people that care. They'll never care as much as you do, right? But surrounding yourself with people that care is so important. And you learn very quickly the ones that are just there to get a paycheck, or the ones that are so invested. And we work with pet parents who are trying to take care of their pets in the best way possible, right? And so there's a multi-level there when you're building a business. It's not just about the numbers and the model. It's truly having that warmth when people walk into your business. So that's huge. Staffing is hard again, and we're there every day. If you think you're going to open a small business and not be investing your time inside and out, you live, eat, and breathe it. And it's very difficult to bring on staff that have that same feeling and intensity that you do. But then when you find them, you have to hold on to them and have them grow with you. And I'm proud to say that from the group that we started from the beginning, we've had a lot of them come up, not only in our business. Unfortunately, we actually lost one of our best staff members yesterday because we helped her grow so much that she is now working for someone in a capacity that she probably wouldn't have 6 months ago. It sucks, but at the same time, there is a sense of pride in that as well when you're mentoring staff members. So,
and you talked about, not enjoying, but sometimes enjoying, but just kind of embracing the early stage of entrepreneurism and what that brings. A lot of times you hear the word, you just got to work harder and grind, and that's not true necessarily. But why can sometimes working really hard not get you the results you want if you don't have the right mindset of growth and sustainability and processes and systems in place? I know, Suzanna, you're working to kind of not wear as many hats, try to get the right people in place in your organization. Are you seeing some of that, where you have to take the time to, you're working hard, but you got to actually work smart at the same time?
There's a difference between just working and then using your time to be productive, and being mindful of that, making sure that that your focus is on the right things, the things that are going to help build that business, and not just at our place, we pride ourselves on cleanliness. So, and dog hair is like glitter. So, I can get sidetracked on, there's hair in the hallway, I've got to sweep that up. Well, it's a matter of, no, I've got other things that I need to focus on to bring more hair into the hallway. So you really have to balance, what's important and what you can assign to somebody else, and not trying to take everything on yourself, which I have a bad habit of doing.
Yeah, I mean, because if you start a business, it's your baby, right? You want it to succeed, and most of the time, people that you bring on, especially paid employees, no one's going to have the same passion that you do. So you want to try to do everything right. You start wearing all the hats. You start, taking on everything. And again, you may have to do that at a certain time. But what's the trap if you don't ever take a step back and kind of put on the CEO hat, which is more visionary process, long-term growth, where are we going, branding, things like that? How can you get trapped in the kind of, there are two rat races, right? There's the employee rat race, But then there's also the self-employed rat race where you're just spinning in circles, waiting on referrals, just hoping someone comes to your doorstep, and you don't have a process by which to scale your business. And so, Audra, you're in an interesting position because you're actually kind of working on that as you're growing your business. You're working on the higher level thoughts, the higher level processes first.
Yeah,
I'm
in a little bit more of a unique position from a lot of people, but I have something to add to what you were just saying, because I think it's so valuable, because every business owner I know, it feels the same. How do I hire somebody? How do I bring somebody on? They're not going to feel the same. They're not going to feel as passionate, and they're maybe going to cut corners. They're just not going to do it like I am. So I better do everything myself. And that's often where we get stuck. And hiring people is a big step. Now, some like franchises, they have to do that almost immediately, or they're not going to have a business. But when you're in a position where you can do everything yourself, I think you have to take a minute to step back and say, what works? What was my most successful area? How is my customer being acquired? How is this translating? And what parts and pieces of that could potentially be automated? And it may not always be going from a one-man show to hiring an employee. Sometimes it's just, we live in a world full of technology. We can automate a lot of things without losing our humanity that free up some of our time. And that could be an interim step between feeling so bogged down on the day-to-day tasks and that huge leap to now entrusting my child with another human.
Yeah. And what you're referring to is leverage, right? And that's probably one of the biggest tools in the CEO's tool belt is leverage. And whether it be, especially as you're starting out, whether it be like you talked about automation, different technologies, learning how to delegate, right? That's important. Creating the systems, the procedures, the manuals that are going to allow other people to do what you've been doing, at least close to as good as you are, at least process wise, right? Maybe not with the same energy and love, but
growing as quickly, but you have to step back and look at that big picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not making more money today, but I'm building systems that are going to help me scale tomorrow, then, it's worth that little bit of a step back or that extra work now, knowing that you're not just in a burnout cycle, that you're actually moving toward freeing up some of your time.
Yeah, I think recognizing that immediate gratification when you have a small business is great, but the truth is investing in what your long-term, like something that will avoid long-term burnout is incredibly important. Learning that I can step away from the store and come to, my home office, because this is where I get the most work done, because I'm not getting my door knocked on every 2 minutes. It's guilty. Like I feel guilty leaving, but in the same breath, I accomplish so much more when I'm just away from that and have my head down with my task list,
Yeah, we have to step away from those emotions and that feeling of guilt and go, this is the smartest use of my time right now.
Another thing that people get trapped in, and again, it's not that this is a bad thing, but you can get stuck in just, where are my leads coming from, right? And you want to build, and this is a big part of systems and automation, is learning to build a pipeline of leads, and you can do that through funnels and all kinds of different ways online. But Jill, a better option is just to learn how to create demand for what you're doing, not just waiting on referrals. How would you advise a young business owner to begin thinking through how do I create demand and not just necessarily take the demand that may be there, but how to create demand in other audiences, other markets where there may not be that at this point?
Yeah, this has been a struggle, an obstacle for me because, referrals seem to come in so well. And I think that I've done a really good job as a business owner providing a great product or service for my clients in terms of coaching or leadership development or things that we do. But then how do we get out of that cycle of always me being the technician who's like doing the coaching or doing the training myself? And I've had to train other people to do that based on, strengths. I have to go with what my strengths are and hire or get contractors, not necessarily even hiring people, but utilizing contractors to do that. And so now we've produced a good service or a good end result for our client. How do we get that to the masses? How do we create that demand and tell our story? And that, again, I think is where technology can come into play, and we can really start marketing in a way that tells testimonials and tells stories and does create more of a demand, both leveraging our past clients and using those stories that pull on the heartstrings of other people in social media or, whatever venue we choose to do that to create the demand to the masses. So that is definitely a challenge.
Piggyback question on that. Have you seen where, let's say there are people in the marketplace looking for coaching, they're looking for what you offer, and you're visible and they find you or you find them and you connect? That's one thing. Are you finding that you have been able to communicate to people that weren't looking for a coach, that people thought, oh, I'm good, I have my own business, I'm pretty successful, and then they run across something of yours and they say, hey, maybe I do need a coach, maybe I do need a mentor, this could take me to the next level, and you've created a demand where it wasn't? Have you?
That's good, because the light bulb has to go on for other people when they're just scrolling or whatever they're doing, right? Like, you have to grab their attention so quickly with what is your pain point. And I think we have to know our target audience enough and our niche enough to understand, like, mine is high achieving women and high achieving business owners, and their pain point is exactly what we're talking about right now. So how can I create a system for them that helps them overcome the things that they're struggling with? But I have definitely seen how we have to tell the stories, I think, is the thing to create demand. And also in my industry, I'm intellectual property. So the more content that I develop and the more things that we kind of put out there in a bigger way, like writing books or developing online courses or things like that, people find us in that way. And then they might just get a book or read something small, and that leads to a bigger contract later with coaching or with training.
Mm-hmm.
Brigitte, for you or Suzanna, y'all are in the pet world, the For Friends world. If you're going through this right now, if referrals aren't necessarily a reliable growth strategy, and again, don't turn away business. That's certainly not what we're saying. But like Jill was talking about, if business is good, referrals are coming in, you can kind of lull yourself into thinking, okay, I've got this thing figured out. But then what happens if they're not good? Right? What happens if you hit a low point, right? You see this in real estate a lot. Like,
right.
Someone's self-employed, but if they're not a broker, so they're still having to go out and sell the next home. Well, if they're doing that every month, that's great. But what about the months that they're not doing it? Well, they don't, real estate in that regard, from a sales standpoint, doesn't have a very scalable option unless you become a broker. And I think, in our industry, that's been kind of drilled into me from the beginning, is opening up more offices, helping, growing, promoting people to lead their own agencies in the financial world. And that's where scalable passive income comes from. So I've had that drilled into me, but I think, a lot of industries, we'll just use y'all's industry, maybe that's not something that's on the forefront when you get into that world. So
Right.
if referrals aren't a reliable growth strategy, what are some of the exact processes that you guys are working on to create not only demand for what you do, but also to begin scaling and stepping back to a high level CEO, not just a mindset, but an actual where you guys are running the show, but
Right.
not in the midst, working on and not in the business?
We are so saturated in this area with in my particular industry, as far as boarding and daycare goes, that it is paramount. Like, it is, we've got to stand out. I have to find ways, hunt for ways, be it grassroots events, networking events, looking for people with dogs in every place I can, every place I can, any place I wouldn't even think to find them, so that I can build a relationship with people first, so that they trust me to leave their very important family members who cannot speak and report back to them how I treated them. So it's all based on trust and me getting out there and me building relationships with as many people as I possibly can, because I have to let them know why I stand out better than the guy down the street who's running a similar
And,
deal.
and I think that's, something that's very good. But what I hear you're saying is that you're still doing all that right now. So how do you develop a process by which you're not the one doing all those things? At the same time, you stand out maybe in a digital presence, creating demand virtually, where yes, you don't want to ever negate the individual relationships, but that you're able to multiply your ability to do that onto other people, whether it be your staff, partners, whatever that looks like.
I've got a customer concierge in place that she chases down all the leads and follow up phone calls and whatnot. We've also started working with a media company that's local, and they've been able to secure influencers for us who come in and create contact.
That's awesome.
Content, yeah, content. And they've brought their own personal fur babies with us, and they've boarded with us and been able to not just, make the video ahead of time, but also attest to how well their babies were cared for after the fact. So it's built.
Suzanna, I have a question, and I don't know anything about your industry. This may not even be appropriate, but what if, or are you providing educational resources for people who have pets that are maybe sick, or they have allergies, they have an infection, or
that's exactly what we do.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I trust you to watch them if you know all of it, and I can get education from you.
Yeah. So we're a holistic pet food store. So that's what we do. We also do grooming and self-serve, but when we're not getting, we're very, very referral based, obviously from the grooming aspect, but we're lucky that we have the bucket of food, and pet nutrition has gotten so big, and we live in an area where so many people their dogs have allergies. We really focus on dogs with pancreatitis, cancer, allergies, stuff like that, and providing them the ability to come into our store and get this next level of knowledge. I mean, you know how, Google works. We Google WebMD and we get, a million things. Heaven forbid you have a headache and all of a sudden, you have some, tragic disease.
Right.
We take the computer out, and we somewhat become the middleman, which is it's very important for our staff to be very well educated in this. But our content that we provide people on our, social media pages is so important, because we target pet parents that have allergies. Like, there's no better feeling than having a dog come in that has terrible allergies, and we see them 2-3 weeks later, and the pet parents have a different dog. So we capitalize on those moments, but it's also because we care so much about it. We're so passionate about it. But providing that content on our website, it's also very hard not to focus so much on the likes on social media. I think as small business owners, we have to get kind of past that. It doesn't mean people aren't seeing it. Just because they're, but we're triggering a thought in their head by providing them content that they haven't really thought of, like, oh, really, I could just, give my dog probiotics and that might change how much they're chewing on their feet. This is crazy. Again, they may not have liked that post, but it's just getting in front of people and consistently bringing up new topics, and getting out of your head that you have to have the likes and the comments and everything. It's
right.
Well, and when you
in that moment, when they need that information, they're so appreciative that they were able to find some answers that are real and applicable. And then it's like, oh, what do you do? Or Suzanna, you shared maybe her educational post about these, and now I trust you more to watch my dog because you just helped me care for them better myself.
Yeah, love that.
Well, and you just brought something really great up. I think partnership equals multiplied power. And that's where we get the real leverage, is when I give, partner with someone else with my network, and I share their information, and then they share mine. Now I'm introduced to a whole nother circle. My circle is only so large, and those people are introduced. And when I build the value with them, then they're going to want to keep coming back, hopefully.
Well, as we're going to transition to our What's the Difference segment here in just a moment, but I want to ask this question. What is something, one of the big things for a CEO is learning to say no to things, right? What is something in your business right now that you need to either create a system to let someone else have it, you need to give it to somebody else, you need to stop doing it, you need to let it go, whatever that looks like. We'll let everybody answer that, and then we'll transition to our What's the Difference segment. Put you on the spot.
Well, I think for me, I alluded to it earlier. I have to take, my time for those larger ambassador type activities for my company. So that means I can't spend as much time doing the technician work, actually coaching and actually teaching and training. I have to, and we're certifying coaches right now. And there's it's difficult in that, but I have to release control and certify facilitators. And so for me, it's just developing more content all the time that other people can take and use themselves. And I don't always have to be in the room for that.
Susanna, what about you?
Again, with the mentorship with my team, so that the people that come in can, then they're dropping their dogs off. They know that even if they don't see me there, that their babies are still in good hands. So I can take that step back and do things like this today. Things are still running, it's functioning. I just need to make sure that that the faces are familiar and educated enough to have conversations with our clients when they come in.
Brigitte?
I would definitely say recognizing when there's a pet parent that I just can't get, let's just say grooming, for example, that they have unrealistic expectations, to shift from the value that I need to provide to them as education and not necessarily take their money. To be honest, we've been open a year, profitability is it's right there. But at the same time, it's running the risk of losing a pet parent just because they may not be the right fit for our store, but giving them the education and putting that behind me and moving on. As we get busier, we have a lot more people. We're busting at the seams right now, which is amazing. But with that also comes the need and ability to say, I maybe need to, it's okay to lose a customer here and there, especially if they're not bringing you value, whether it be, from a referral perspective or from a financial perspective. And that's a really hard thing to do when you're still cutting a check at the end of the month, right?
Audra?
For me, I just have to remind myself that just because I can doesn't mean that I should. I changed. I'm in a little career transition. I left a career in January and I'm going back to being self-employed. And I've really taken a step back to decide exactly what I want that to look like and think like a CEO first before I get too bogged down with details. And with that comes a lot of opportunity. I have a lot of connections. So I'm often offered opportunities and I really have to think, just because I can do that doesn't mean that I should. And is it in line with my core values and where I want to go long term?
I think that should be my life motto here over the next 6 months. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. I think that's really good. I think that's really good advice for all of us. As we wrap up our topic, we're going to jump into what's the difference, and this will help us kind of put a bow on everything that we talked about.
And now it's time for What's the Difference?
All right. What's the difference? Where I ask a question. What's the difference between two things? Business topics, business words. They all come in. They all have to do with what we just talked about. Give us your best 10-second answer. If you ramble, we're going to buzz you, but don't take offense to it. It's all in good fun. So no long diatribes, no novels about your childhood. Just real quick answers, and we'll make this really fun. So I'm going to start with Jill. Jill, what's the difference between building a business and building a brand?
I think a business has assets and a legacy that go beyond you.
Okay, you said a brand?
A business has assets and a legacy that go beyond you.
And then what would you say a brand is?
A brand represents who you are, and when people see that, they automatically associate that with you.
Okay. So yeah, and I like that. I think looking at it from a comparative standpoint, you'd say a business is more revenue, operations, profitability, right? Which hopefully does go beyond you. But then a brand is more your recognition, your authority, your long-term loyalty, things like that, which does actually help sustain the growth of the business. So very good. Audra, what's the difference between thinking like a CEO and thinking like an employee?
Well, kind of what we did on today, right? I can't talk. Thanks.
I'm sorry. I just had to do that.
I think we hit on that a lot today. I mean, as an employee, you're just task oriented. You clock in. What do I need to get done today? It's 5 o'clock. I'm clocking out. And thinking like a CEO is long term growth, sustainability, systems, and processes.
I couldn't agree more. That's perfect. Brigitte, what's the difference between growth and scaling? Sorry, I lost my place on the question. What's the difference between growth and scaling?
Growth is definitely something that's not just from a corporate standpoint. It's from a personal standpoint. It's an employee standpoint. Scaling is, to me, just taking those skills and then growing them to a next level, right? So taking what's made you grow and taking those next level, that scalability to me.
Yeah. So you're talking about, growth is kind of the KPIs in a sense, like revenue, customers, adding resources, things like that. Scaling is talking about the efficiency, right? Leveraging systems, automation, things we talked about, growing that doesn't necessarily require as much effort when you're able to scale those efforts. So nice job. Let's see. Suzanna, you are up. You look nervous. You look really nervous.
No, I'm fine.
What is the difference between influence and authority?
I think the difference being is when you influence, you just have the ability to persuade people to do something. You can, inspire them to follow you or to get on board with you. Where if you're an authority figure, you're recognized as with some legitimacy. You might be seen as like an expert or a leader in whatever field you're talking about. So there's a little bit of a difference. One, I think, just is sort of a Pied Piper effect, and the authority is more of, I know what I'm talking about, so you need to pay attention.
What if you have authority but nobody respects you, though? Then do you have any influence?
No, so I think you have to have a balance of both.
Yeah. So sometimes authority is just a title, right?
Yeah.
Influence can give you authority, but I think influence is more about, people value what you're saying for a specific reason. They've built trust there. And so if that's how you can grow that authority. If you have authority and no influence, you probably have no respect at the same time. So yeah. Last bonus question goes to Jill. Okay. What's the difference between creating demand and capturing demand? We talked a little bit about this, creating demand and capturing demand.
I think we talked a little bit about creating demand by providing an excellent service and a great product, and people want it. Whereas you're capturing demand by already marketing to people who they need that, and so you're capturing them into your funnel.
Right. It's like people that come into the store, Brigitte's store, and they need something right off the bat. But if she's educating the market, shaping perception on, hey, your dog can actually be way healthier than he or she actually is, making people want something that they don't realize that they want, that's capture, or that's creating demand, right? And obviously you want to take the demand that's there, but this is where Think High Level builds those pathways to where you don't actually have to rely as heavily on referrals, because people are starting to see that you are actually the resource that they need for a much larger vision or view than they thought they did. I'm not saying that right, but anyways, great job, guys. When we come back, we're going to do our final segment, which is a deep dive with our two wonderful guests. So stick around. We'll be right back on the Community Difference Plano.
At the Community Difference Business Development Alliance, powered by the Difference Media, LLC, our mission is to empower small business owners by transcending acceptable behaviors and outcomes into exceptional realms. We foster a culture of self-awareness, accountability, and proactive engagement, guiding individuals to recognize and overcome indifference towards transformative actions, habits, behaviors, and processes driving meaningful change. Through strategic networking, impactful content creation, and innovative top-of-mind strategies, we cultivate brand relevance and differentiation, enabling our partners and the Difference community to stand out in crowded markets. With a focus on building authentic connections, amplifying brand presence, and driving sustainable growth, we equip entrepreneurs with the tools and mindset to navigate the complexities of entrepreneurship with confidence, innovation, and resilience. Together, we aim to be the catalyst for difference makers, propelling them towards their highest potential and leaving a lasting impact on their businesses and communities. That's where our community podcasts come in. These podcasts lie directly at the intersection of innovative business development and community involvement, helping to bridge the gap between small business obscurity often seen in our communities. The community-based podcasts called the Community Difference Series are an integral part of integrating all facets of modern business development into a package of great content, positive impact branding, and top-of-mind presence, thus fulfilling the greater mission we set forth. When we set out to be difference makers, we can learn to make a difference and find the success and impact innately desired by all business owners and entrepreneurs. We are difference makers.
Welcome back as we step into our final segment of the show, where we will get to know Brigitte and Jill a little bit more. First, we'd like to start with a kind of a fun couple of quirky questions here. We'll start with Jill. If you could have any superpower, but only for a day, what would it be and why?
Oh, I'd love to hear what everyone's thinking. What is that called?
That movie with Gibson, What Women Want. I think there's a guy version too. That was interesting.
That'd be awesome. I would love to know what my husband's thinking all the time.
Yeah, you might want to know what people think, and then you know it, and you're like, oh God, I wish I didn't know that. I don't want people to know what I think. That would be terrifying. Bridget, what about you?
I don't know. I kind of feel like a little time travel might be kind of cool, forward and back. Little help with a little bit of predictability. I don't know.
Where would you
I don't know that I would want to know.
Where would you time travel to?
Honestly, I kind of feel like I would love to go back. Time travel, I don't know, maybe 100 years, kind of see, the things that we absolutely take advantage of and take for granted now and go back to the simplicity of what life was.
I think that, mine is, I'd like to visit ancient Rome, but in like a safe place, if there is such a thing.
Right.
Pretend to be a Roman, something like that. There's a lot of time periods that I'd like. The Wild West, which is not as glorious as it's made out to be on movies and television shows, unfortunately, but I think that would be a lot of fun. I would ask this. So what's a weird hobby or habit that you have that surprises people? But we already know that from your introduction. So tell us about, curling for real? Like that's a real?
The Olympic sport. So I'm actually from Canada. I started
now
curling
it makes more sense. Okay. Now
started curling when I was 8 years old. And then I came to the US about 20 years ago. Didn't know there was a curling club. And apparently there's one in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And fun fact, we're actually about to sign on a lease to be in Plano. Our very first Dallas-Fort Worth curling club is about to hit Plano. So we're really excited about that. But I've been curling. I travel the country curling. My old team in Canada won gold in the Olympics 4 years after I left. Good times. No, it's great. Yeah, I love it. The Olympics are around the corner.
So you were on the Olympic team in Canada?
No, I left Canada, and then my team that I left wound up winning gold at the Olympics 4 years later.
Oh,
wow! So you're pretty good then.
Yay!
Okay. They should have sent you a medal for helping them.
It's super inclusive. We love it. If anyone's ever interested in coming, but I'll be on the show soon to talk about the growth of our curling club.
Okay. Well, we look forward to that. I have so many curling questions, but we don't have time to get into that because
Everybody does.
I don't understand it. Just the moment I think that I've got it, they're like, I love the screaming. The screaming is my favorite part.
Yes.
Anyways, well, that's, another story. Jill, what about you? Weird hobby or habit that you have that surprises people?
I don't know. Oh my gosh. I have too many children to have any hobbies, and I probably have so many bad habits.
Name all of your bad habits right now.
I think people would be probably surprised how many games that we go to during the course of a week. We have 4 athletes, and so like keeping up with all
Oh
of
my
that.
gosh.
Yeah.
That sounds very stressful, if I'm being honest.
It is a little, but it's
What sports do they
probably
play?
part of my bad habit of not saying no, right?
What sports do
Well,
they play?
we have college athletes who've played football. My middle son is a track athlete, and he'll jump in a track meet in Missouri tomorrow. We've got 4 games: softball, volleyball, soccer tomorrow. We'll have football season coming up. Just basketball, every sport, I think.
Well, that is, and that's not cheap either. So that's good. That's a lot of things happening there. So, well, good. I'm glad you're able to juggle that somehow, which is amazing. Let's go a little bit deeper here. When is the point where you guys knew, hey, this is the community that I want to build a business in, whether it be Plano, Collin County area, whatever, where this is where we want to plant our flag. This is where we want to build the business. And what was that moment? Like, why did you decide here is home, basically? I'll start with you, Brigitte, as a transplant that got here as fast as you could from Canada. We're glad you're here.
Thanks. Yeah, I can say, I moved to McKinney right away, kind of before McKinney was McKinney. And then I worked with a lot of people. I was in residential real estate for 20 years. So I worked with a lot of people, or have been in Plano, and just, it's such a sense of community here. So it almost became a no-brainer when I wanted to start this business to be somewhere that had such a tight sense of community. And that was really it. I love that small town, kind of a big city feel. And let's be honest, if you walk around Plano, every person has 2 to 3 dogs. So very easy to.
There are a lot of dogs here. There are a lot of dogs.
Lots of dogs. So that was kind of easy, but it really was just the community in the area. And I knew that being a small business owner, that's what you need. So,
Jill, what about you? Was there a pivotal moment that you knew that this is home? I mean, I think you've been here a while, right?
Yeah, I think when I went to college in Missouri and got a job outside of college right down in downtown Dallas, but moved right to 75 and George Bush before George Bush was even like what it is today.
Yeah.
And so this has just been home for 30 years. I can't even believe I'm saying that, but I've just always loved the vibrancy of DFW and how we do have the entrepreneurial spirit here. We do. It's easy to connect with others in business, and there's a lot of women in business here, and it's one of the best cities in the nation for women in business. So I've really enjoyed
it's one of the best cities in the nation for about 500 different things. Plano's always at the top of the list for everything. So
yeah,
that's a great, and I think we've got a pretty good idea of what some of your passions are, each one of you. Talk about how that relates to the community and making the community a better place. We'll start with you, Brigitte.
Yeah, dog food in Canada has a much higher standard than the United States, much higher. And so, moving here and kind of seeing that everything is based on how much money do people spend on advertising, and it's not really necessarily the best thing for your pet. That's something I've been passionate about for so long. I've been in rescue so long. So seeing dogs that come in so malnourished, you can't just feed them food, like just regular food. You have to build on it and build their nutrients back. And I don't have children. My dogs are my children. And so I want them to live forever. I think anyone who's ever had a dog has said that at some point. And so to find an opportunity to not only make dogs healthier and be able to reach out and help someone, or guess what? I just get to spend all day petting dogs. It's not a bad thing. But that was definitely one of the reasons that I got into this, is looking at different franchising. And then this opportunity came up, and I thought, it's literally all my worlds colliding and combining. And that was what was really important to me when I built this business.
Jill, what about you?
Well, I think that just the combination of my history, I worked for Zig Ziglar for, 14 years in corporate America, MCI before that, and just my love for personal growth and development. But then also I had a season where I went into full-time ministry. And so my faith really informs a lot of what I do. So I just love being able to connect with people in the community now on both of those things, both business and faith. I don't think we have to be one or the other. I think we can have both, and one informs the other. So I'm really passionate about, hosting events where we develop people in their calling and their purpose, and show them a vision for their life. And I love giving back that way, whether it's, at church or in small groups or networking groups, really any venue, even in the neighborhood. That's how Audra and I met. Is our daughters were in school together, and we just connected on our faith and also our love for business together.
Well, we're going to wrap up here. We got about 3 minutes left. Suzanna, I'm going to give you about 20 seconds to just say some nice things about Brigitte. I'll let you have your final thoughts.
We met about a year ago at an event when we were both trying to build our businesses, and I run into her husband at a couple different events, and our worlds just kind of keep colliding. And I think it's her interests are right aligned with mine, and so what's not to like?
That's fantastic. Audra, what do we need to know about Jill that she didn't already share with us?
Oh my goodness, I could go on and on. Yes, we met on the school grounds picking up our little kindergartners. So 5 minutes at a time waiting for our little kindergartners to come out of the school. And now those girls are graduating 5th grade this year. And we've just so many different areas of life have connected. But Jill really is just so authentic and lives out what she coaches. And she helped me start my own business and get to the root of what are my core values and what are my goals, and really take all these swirling thoughts and put them together in a way that felt right for me. And I think she does that for each and every one of her clients. But if you're just a friend watching your kids swing on the swings of the playground, it's the same Jill, the same information. She just lights up the room.
Well, thank you guys. 20 seconds, Brigitte and Jill, to wrap us up, and we'll close out the show. What were your takeaways today? Gosh,
it's just being better, working better and smarter. I've learned that from each of you. You guys have all said things that have just really stuck in my mind. And then also just, taking time to invest more value in my business that is not sweeping the floors, sweeping the hair, Suzanna, and just continuing, relationships around me and partnering with people. It's sometimes that there's more value being outside the store than there is being in when it comes to meeting people. And I need to be better at that. And I'm excited to do it. So,
Jill, 20 seconds to you, and we'll wrap up the show here.
Oh, it's just so nice to meet everyone. I love what the Community Difference is doing. Thank you so much for having me. I think for me, it's just taking the leap into creating that demand and capturing the demand. It's just always a challenge to go to the masses. And so taking the leap to do that, it's time.
Well, thank you guys so much, Jill, Brigitte, Audra, and Suzanna. When we meet again next month, it'll be a new topic. Again, we'll be on Tuesdays moving forward at 11:30. April's topic: how to turn customers and partners into raving fans. Talk about creating the demand. We talked a little bit about that. So we're going to go into detail on exactly how to do that next month. So thank you to our sponsors, our partners, everyone on the show today. Have a great week, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you for watching today's show.
The Community Difference Plano was made possible by Nathan Smith with Summit Financial, Harvey Lucier with Twilight Cleaning Services, Tracy Duff with Assisted Living Locators, Jacqueline Kreider with Financial Mastery Simplified, Suzanna Austin with K9 Resorts, Audra Hooper with Audra Hooper Integrated Health, Cindy Durance with A Place at Home, And by Kirk Hodgson with Assured Partners. The Community Difference Plano. Together, we can make the difference.